Aboru aboye. The elders say that the wisdom of one place is the foolishness of another. This is the school of Orisa studies, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Origunwa. And today's lesson is going to be on context, okay, and the way that context defines or greatly influences reality. A lot of times when we who are practitioners come together from different traditions, if you come from the Trinidadian tradition, or you come from the Haitian tradition, or the Afro-Cuban, or the Brazilian, or the Nigerian tradition, and we, you know, bump into one another either online or in actual ceremonial environments, it can be a little bit tense, to say the least, when people are expecting the ritual or the ceremony to go one way and it goes another way, right? And there is a tendency to dismiss the ways that other traditions carry out their procedures, right? It's like, "Hey, I'm not familiar with that. Ah, it's wrong. Oh, we don't do it that way. No one does it that way. That's a taboo. Ah, it's wrong." Okay. And it reminds me of one of my favorite stories of Ifa that talks about the farmer. And the farmer who had been a farmer his whole life, right? And so he had a very sedentary, localized life. Everything revolved around the farm. And one year he got a bumper crop, and so he decided he was going to take his son out to discover the wisdom of the world. And so everybody gathered around and they said, "Wow, Baba, where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to discover the wisdom of the world. I'm going to take Junior with me and we're going to become wise." And so they jumped on the back of the horse and they set out. And they got into the first town, right? And as they were reaching the town center, he could see people and they were starting to whisper. And he got within earshot and he realized that they were saying that, it was improper for the man and the boy to ride on the back of the horse because the boy was a child. He's not the man's equal. So they watered the horse, they got some food, and he said, "Son, look at that. We got to the first town. We've acquired some wisdom. So as we go forward, we're going to apply this and we're going to go into the next town. You get off the horse and you walk." And so the boy got off and they walked into the next town. But again, he heard people starting to whisper. And as he got within earshot, he could hear them saying that was horrible. He's got that child walking like, he's an animal. Like you got the horses walking and the child is walking. What kind of foolishness is that? So he gets down and he says, they water the horse and they get some food. And he says, "Look at that, son. We learn more wisdom. This is working out very well for us." So in the next town, I'll get off the horse too. And so he gets off the horse, and then he and the horse and the boy walk to the next town. He gets there, and people are just laughing at him. He's like, and he finally gets it within earshot, and he can detect what they're saying. He's like, "What kind of a fool is that? The man, the boy, and the horse walking side by side like three brothers. What kind of foolishness? This guy must be from the farm." So the man, he thought about it, and he says, "Wow, this is something. Okay, I get it. I get it." So they water the horse, they get some food, and he jumps on the horseback. He puts the boy on the back, and his son says, "Papa, where are we going now? We're going to acquire more wisdom?" He says, "No, son, I think we've got enough wisdom for now." And so they get on the horse, and they ride all the way back to their farm. And so by now they've been gone for a couple of weeks, and the people were wondering, like, you were gone for a while. We didn't see you. Tell us about the wisdom of the world. What did you learn? He said, "Yeah, the world is filled with wisdom, and it's wondrous in its diversity. But the wisdom of one place is the folly of another. And so you got to apply common sense, right? But common sense is based on what? It's based on the context. Sure, in one place, it's proper to do things in one way. It's proper for the man and the boy to ride on the horse together. And another place is not proper, right? And so what matters most is that you understand the context within which you're operating. You understand, what are the rules of engagement in your environment. That's the most important thing. That's the beginning of your ability to function and carry things out. When in Rome, do as the Romans, right? When in Oakland, do as the Oaklanders. That is the way it goes. Number one. But it doesn't stop there. What even puts that into proper context is what your goal is. Why are you doing any of this in the first place? Right? What's the whole point? The farmer knew that his goal was to acquire wisdom. Okay? So as he went from one town to the next, he could apply the rules in different places. But at the end of the day, he realized, what's my ultimate goal though? What am I trying to do? I'm trying to acquire wisdom. I got it now. Wisdom is not about facts and data. It's about contextualizing what you're doing according to where you are and what the parameters that are being set for that place. So if you practice the Afro-Cuban tradition or the Brazilian tradition or the Nigerian tradition or the Dahomian tradition or the Trinidadian, any kind of a tradition that you practice, follow the rules of that tradition. But remember what your ultimate goal for practicing Orisha lifestyle is in the first place. If you lose sight of that goal, you're going to get all caught up in the details of the different practices and you'll be trapped in a never ending spiral of conflict and dispute that never leads to any development of wisdom. Aboru aboye, aboshishen.